Hello everyone. Today we are going to work on speaking task 3 of CELPIP, that is describing a scene. Let's have some tips of describing a scene first. The preparation time is for 30 seconds and the speaking time is for 60 seconds. You have to describe a given scene. Here is a bonus tip for you. Do not describe everything in detail. Time is too less. Break up the scene in 3 parts. In the first part, give an overview. In the second part, mention the people and objects and add some details. In part 3, conclude. Be natural. That is the tip I give all the time. Be natural. Let's solve one. Now, if you look at this picture, you will be able to see that there are some kids playing in a natural park. There are some elderly people too. So now let's read the statement and understand it clearly. What is expected out of us? Describe some things that are happening in the picture below. The person you are speaking to cannot see the picture. Now, this is a thing which is very important. He cannot see the picture. So you have to explain the picture to him. Let's go ahead. Let's see the structure now. Introduction. Mention the people, objects, and add details. And conclude. There are the 3 things which we need to remember in the structure. Now let's form an introduction. We can start with any of the lines given below. I will try my best to explain the picture I'm seeing. Now you have to remember that the other person is not seeing the picture. So we have to explain in detail that what you are seeing. Let me describe the picture I'm looking at. I'm going to explain you what I see in the picture. After that, you can add a line. I will tell you what is happening and what are the people doing. Then the picture or the scene or the show looks like. Now let's start. If you see this picture, we are going to make an introduction out of it. Let me describe this picture I'm looking at. I'll tell you what's happening and what the people are doing. First of all, the picture shows what looks like a nature park. The park looks quite crowded as I see many people in the picture. Now my introduction is complete. Now what do I need to do? I need to talk about people and what they are doing. Add details about the people and objects and their location. Now how do we define locations? In the foreground, in the background, on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, in the bottom, in the top, in the middle, opposite, in front of, behind, beyond. These words are very useful whenever we have to describe the location of people. Now let's add some detail. We need some depth in the answer, so we will add some description to all the clusters of people and objects that we have mentioned. So what are we going to say? We are going to say it seems like this person is doing this. It seems like, looks like, feels like, I assume, I believe, because you're not sure. So you can say I assume or I believe. This is what you feel about the picture. Now, remember that we cannot speak every single detail. It will be too long and we do not have the time. We cannot stick to 1-2 objects only. Otherwise, everything else will be ignored and we will not be able to get marks. The trick here is balancing. Now, what do you mean by balancing? That we explain a couple of things in detail and rest of the things we can ignore. So I'm just going to teach you how to do that. Idioms and vocabulary work very well here. That means if you remember some idioms, you remember some vocabulary, and you add it here, this will be like absolutely great. Now let's try one. Again, the picture is here, and we have to describe the people and add some details. On the bottom left, the boy is looking at a red tulip from a distance through his binoculars. So what I'll do, I'll mark some things for you. So you look at this boy and his binoculars, and that is the red tulip that he's looking at. Next to him, a girl who seems to be his friend, seems to be, we don't know, a girl who's looking at the expressions on the face, we think that she's a friend, is waiting in excitement for the turn to try the binoculars. On the other side of the picture, a girl is enjoying her ice cream cone while sitting on a rock. So this girl is enjoying her ice cream cone while sitting on a rock. And in the middle, I can see another girl wearing purple walking her two dogs. So this girl is wearing some purple dress and she's walking her two dogs. And these two dogs are leashed. The dogs are on a leash so that they don't just run off. In the background, I see two people. They appear to be a father and a daughter. So here is a father and a daughter. The father is teaching the girl how to ride a bike. So basically, we've spoken about everybody except we've forgotten the rabbits. We've ignored this person sitting here, and this couple here. We're not talking about the lake, the trees, because we are adding detail to some of the things. We are not adding detail to everything. If we add detail to everything, that will become impossible for us to complete this task in a minute. Now comes the conclusion. In conclusion, what we can do. There are some of the features of the picture, and I hope that there are some other things in the picture that I haven't mentioned. I left out some details, but hopefully now you have a pretty good idea on how the picture looks like. We can use any of these sentences to cover up the things that we left out. Let's try to conclude. There are some other things in the picture that I haven't mentioned, but hopefully you have a pretty good idea of what the picture looks like. So now what we're going to do, we're going to speak this in one go and figure out what is the timing going to be. Again, remember this. Whenever you are practicing, you should practice more than a minute, because when you are speaking in front of the computer, there's a very fair chance that you're going to forget a couple of things. So let's try and assemble everything and fix up this in 1 minute and some extra seconds, because I'm practicing right now. But in the real exam, if this picture comes to you, you're definitely going to forget a couple of things. Let me try describe this picture I'm looking at. I'll tell you what's happening and what the people are doing. First of all, the picture shows what looks like a nature park. The park looks quite crowded as I see many people in the picture. On the bottom left side, a boy is looking at a red tulip from a distance through his binoculars. Next to him, a girl who seems to be his friend is waiting in excitement for her turn to try her binoculars. On the other side of the picture, a girl is enjoying her ice cream cone while sitting on a rock. And in the middle, I can see another girl wearing purple walking her two dogs. The dogs are on a leash so that they don't just run off. In the background, I see two people. They appear to be a father and a daughter. The father is teaching the girl how to ride a bike. There are some other things in the picture that I haven't mentioned, but hopefully you have a pretty good idea of what the picture looks like. Now remember, again my golden tip to everybody. You should not have a flat tone. There should be intonation in your tone, a harmony in your tone. Your level should go up and down. You cannot have a very flat, monotonous tone like this. Thank you so much for attending this session, and I hope that you learned a lot.